Hello, so here we have the video for the Strength Gains Maximizer Hypnosis. Just want to give a couple finer details on this hypnosis that isn't covered in the main quick start video. One of the first things about this is you'll notice there is an anchored phrase used throughout this hypnosis. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but it's a two-word phrase. It should be quite clear by the end you're doing this hypnosis on what that is. And the purpose of this, one of the purposes, is to really install that as an anchor within yourself, so you can say that phrase to yourself, or when you hear it with my voice, of course, in these tracks, that it will re-access all those feelings of being super strong. So be on the lookout for that, and know that you can then use that yourself in the future. So you don't really, one of the purposes with hypnosis is exact change, so you don't really need to continue doing the hypnosis in order to get results. Just going through this one time, that anchor should be set pretty well, and then you can kind of re-access those feelings throughout your workout, let's say, when you really want to bring them out. So be on the lookout for that, or the listen out, I guess. Within this, early in the kind of the hypnotic programming section, I talk about you picking a demonstration exercise, one that really demonstrates this strength. A couple guidelines on this. One, it can be a goal you have. Let's say you want to deadlift a really heavy weight, then pick that goal. Obviously the deadlift has carryover to other things. I would not necessarily pick something like an isolation exercise like a tricep kickback or something, but really something that does kind of generalize and really embodies that level of strength to you in many ways. So if this is a goal you have in mind, you can focus on that and continue focusing on that. Alternatively, you can choose a different exercise each time you listen to this hypnosis, and you can get great results doing that. This can keep you mixing it up and really kind of bring about other things, because certain things are done during this visualization portion that can be a little fun, so that you are working with different exercises at the time, because my goal is all around strength. I'm assuming you don't just want to be one-dimensionally strong as well. You have some different areas you might want to focus on. So within this portion, I talk about something imaginal happening. Now, if I were hypnotizing you for a specific exercise, I might guide you into different things like this. For instance, when I was doing the presentation at Dragon Door's Health and Strength Conference, I chose as an exercise to hypnotize people with for the kettlebell press. And then what I had them imagine, there were several things throughout that hypnosis, but one of the big parts was I had them imagine the entire ceiling of the building was a giant magnet, a very powerful magnet. And this magnet wasn't so powerful that it just lifted up the kettlebells instantly, but it was powerful enough to unweight the kettlebell, so that when they're pressing, the magnet was pulling up on the kettlebell to some degree, so it lightened the load in that way. So this is using our imagination and, seeing that happen, seeing the magnet up there, but feeling the forces of that pulling on the kettlebell as such. This is accessing that imagination. Of course, there wasn't really a magnet there. I suppose you could actually do that and then get a feeling for this, but we're using the imagination in a way that kind of unlocks that power within the human body. So this is that whole idea of not just a realistic visualization, that's great, but using our imagination, we can enhance it further. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. You can think of something consciously and use that in this sort of imagination portion, or you can really allow it to come up from the subconscious. The more you practice this stuff, the more things kind of emerge. Your subconscious will see this new concept that you haven't seen before, and it will bring that into the visualization. So trust in that and then use that. Just to give you another example, with something like pull-ups, oftentimes I'll imagine myself having a jetpack on, so I have that additional power that's pushing me up doing those pull-ups as well. So all different ways you can do this. Like I said, just use your imagination, and if you don't think of yourself as an imaginative person, that's fine. Even if you just keep visualizing like normal, that's fine, and over time this ability may unlock and grow further as well. So those are some of the important aspects of this. There's a bunch of other stuff in there. So a few words on how often should you do this track? This one is, you certainly could do this every day. This would be a great thing to do right before your workout because it's really going to set up those feelings of strength and that feeling of power that you have before you do the workout. So it's absolutely great for that. And this is also something that, like I said, if you did it just one time, I think you could get results with it, that sort of anchoring process that happens in there. But really, if you did maybe 2 to 3 times a week, this would be great. If you have a very specific goal in mind, let's say deadlifting a certain weight and you're pretty close to that goal, you may do it every single day focused on that same goal, and that can really build up your drive as well as the power towards that goal. If you have a big goal off in the distance, maybe you focus on that every once in a while, but also focus on some other things. I think you'll get great results doing that. So really play with it, see what works well for you, but I think you're going to have a lot of benefit come from this hypnosis. Be sure to tell me about PRs that this thing helps you bring, especially the first time. If you have a specific exercise in mind, your first time through this hypnosis, I would love to hear what happens for you. As before, any questions specifically on this hypnosis, be sure to email me, logan@legendarystrength.com. Go out there, go use this hypnosis, and become stronger.